What's going on out there? We've got the leadership summit going on. We've got some material here, and what we're going to do is try to figure out some things that might make you a better leader, a better person who can promote principles of good government and good citizenship. I've got some literature here. I went down and did a pretty wicked seminar with a Lions Club, believe it or not, and it was a life-changing experience. And this is the manual. So we're going to dip in here. Like I said, I don't want anything in this manual. We also talk about misunderstandings and how misunderstandings can be the root of a lot of bad things. I don't want anything I say during this presentation to be reflected negative on this organization. I am merely sharing the light with my fellows because it is collecting dust, it is rotting. We need to help make more leaders in America, okay? So, we're talking about good government and good citizenship. A lot of people, your garden variety, swinging dick, swinging clit, shitting behind two shoe heels, punches his clock, taps in, logs into the fucking computer, does his work, does his steady, does her work, does her, feeds her kids, they just kind of run around. That's it. They don't really feel like they have a big influence on government or on politics that I've seen. They may vote, they may not vote. A lot of people don't vote. A lot of people just run what I call running the mill. Right? There's nothing wrong with running the mill. It's perfectly safe there. You don't have to get hurt. You don't have to get damaged. And you can get paid and you can get fed. In the words of Pink Floyd, stay out of the road and do what you're told if you want to grow old. But we're going to talk about how you, or in this case, they're talking about Lions Clubs, which Lions Clubs are very important, and I encourage everyone to check them out. What are some ways you can promote good government and good citizenship? Take interest in the civic, cultural, social, and moral welfare of the community. Take an active interest in the civic, cultural, social, and moral welfare of the community. So, what are your active interests civically? Do you know what civic is? Civics. It has to do with the the girth and breadth of your town, your town hall. You've got your fire department, your police department, your power company. You've got your grocery stores, your flour mills, your power stations. You name it. That's pretty much your civic. This This is your town, your city, your roots. I don't know how many of you listen to gangster rap. You guys like gangster rap? A lot of them, turf wars, the beef, west side, east side, east coast, west coast. It's where you from. What's your sect, your code, your area code, where you're from. Are you repping your city, so to speak? That's very important, I find, in your civic interests and being a leader. I happen to represent Tupelo, Mississippi. A lot of people don't like that. I like Tupelo. I love Tupelo. I've lived all over the country. I wasn't born here, but the Lord brought me here, and I lived on Elvis Presley Drive for a while. Right, grew up not far from the birthplace of Elvis, and I stayed there for about 10 years, and I rode down a lot of the roads Elvis rode down, a lot of those back ponds. I used to swim in the creek, probably a bunch of sewage in there, but I'd swim and I'd sunbathe, and I did a lot of things. I made the front page of the newspaper. I created a lot of good programs, and I'd like to think I touched the hearts of a lot of people in Tupelo. Tupelo is a very special place for me. And if you live in Tupelo, I want it to be a special place for you. You may live in Okolona or New Albany, or you're probably a foreigner. You might be watching me from London or, Luxembourg, Geneva, India. I don't know, wherever you're from. I mean, you have your roots. Well, here in America, the beauty is you've got states. I'm Mississippi, Hail State, or Ole Miss. We're a house divided, if you like, college football. By the way, low tip, get involved in sports. If you're a kid, all right, by kid, I'm talking about old enough to watch this video, and you're not 18, you're not old enough to drink and drive, go and join your sports team. Get involved in wrestling. Get involved in swimming. That is what you need to do. It's gonna be scary. I know. I mean, my spine was about like a slug just crawling around, an earthworm. I didn't have much of a spine. They wouldn't let me, and I wouldn't let me. I didn't perform too well in high school. I didn't perform too well in middle school. And I did some ways, other ways I didn't, and I felt like I was trying to be something I wasn't. And I don't want you to fall into that trap. When you fall into that trap of being something you're not and living up to somebody else, which you are, in a sense, is you're not a leader. You're a follower. You're following motherfuckers. You're not setting trends. You're following trends. And if you're going to lead, you better be prepared to get beat on and get your lips split. And people are gonna fucking hate me. They hate me. And you're gonna get a lot of flack. You're gonna get a lot of static. They don't live there. The good time. So you kind of got to have a death wish. But anyway, tying that into the civics, be a champion for your community. So again, take an active interest in the civic, cultural, social, and moral welfare of the community. So what's the cultural welfare of the community? Some may say, well, man, I heard it ain't a safe place for gays down there in Tupelo. Or I heard it's not a safe place for blacks down there in Tupelo. Or some say, hey, it ain't safe for whites in Tupelo. And, well, you know, the whites are moving out. What do? You lead her up. You lead her up. You say, hey, I think Tupelo is a safe place for gays. I think it's a safe place for blacks. And I think it's a safe place for whites. I'd like it to be a safe place. I saw a woman riding her bicycle. She was riding her bicycle down the street. And I said, oh, wow, what a beautiful thing. You know, and a sick fuck like me, I mean, I'm into security. You start looking at all the risks involved with riding a bicycle. And you're like, you know, thank goodness we are a collective team in Tupelo. And the woman enjoys the quality of life. That's why the property values are higher here. That's why the streets are cleaner in Tupelo. That's why Tupelo is fucking beautiful and kick-ass city. Law enforcement keep it safe. Firemen keep the fires down. Culturally, we're a pretty diverse city. Diversity is important. I'm a real stickler on diversity because I'm that tends to be discriminated against. And it's kind of like do unto others as you would have done unto yourself. Now, some people like me are self-mutilators and you may not follow. I like to put others sometimes ahead of myself. I get into some pretty dark places, but that's my job. I think we all get into dark places. We know people that are willing to go into those dark places and draw people out of those dark places into places of light. So I think we've got wrapped up the cultural aspect. So the social aspect. This is a tough one. Some people don't like folks that drink. Some folks don't like people that smoke. Some folks don't like people of color. Some people don't like foreigners. And by color, I mean income. Everybody's got their own definitions. So, being social, you're going to be plagued with a bunch of prejudices and biases. And that's going to be your job. You got to sort that out to just try to get by. Being social creatures means, to me, you want to have the common good at heart. You got to care about the man or the woman next to you, or the trans, or whatever it is. You know, you've got to care about the individual next to you in your community and say, you know what? When the shit goes down, these are the cocksuckers that are going to be here. We can either be standoffish, or we can be social and work on potentially good projects. And then finally, the moral welfare of the community. That's a touchy issue. I don't know. A lot of morals can be tough. I've had some say, I think the moral issue is to each their own. I mean, it can be a divisor, in my opinion. I don't know where we're getting this into leadership, but be very careful. I mean, I'm giving you some pro tips here, tips that I've discovered that I've been burned and isolated. I mean, I've been scorned and run out of a lot of places, a lot of towns, and I'm, it can be tough when you start talking that moral bullshit. So and so likes having abortions. Abortions save lives. So when you start saying that type of shit, you cause problems. Some people say, well, so and so worships the devil. We don't want him around. He's morally reprehensible because he worships the devil. It's not that, and he drinks. It doesn't matter if he doesn't break the law, if he doesn't cuss, he doesn't do anything wrong. He works, he provides, he pays taxes. His freedom of religion goes both ways, but a lot of times that's where your moral areas get into this gray area right here. Big old gray area. It's like, well, this guy, he listens to a cool rabbi, Yom Tov, and he reads the Satan Bible, and he reads the Holy Bible, and he reads the Dhamma Bible, and right there, the moral constraints are firing in the neurons of the mind. The man is like, or the woman is like, Satan, evil, he is a bad thing. Because it clashes with their ideology. That's where we're talking about the moral. This case, like I said, this is between me and you, subscribers to this network. I can't advise on that because sometimes you just got to keep it in the closet. It's just like being gay. Keep that shit in the closet. Don't ask, don't tell. Don't ask, don't tell. When we're talking about the moral welfare of the community, moral means think about the kids. Think about the fucking kids, man. Everybody's brought up different. Some people think, always, here's a rule of thumb, always do what the most elite coordinator is doing. If you see somebody, and I learned that, and it broke me, and I felt like a real asshole afterwards. If somebody doesn't like using the Lord's name in vain, if somebody's a devout Christian, if somebody, they say, I don't want my kids watching that shit, that filth, back them, and try to raise yourself to that level. Wrap your mind around it, because they're trying to push that moral filth out of their mind. In their eyes, it's filth. Some of our eyes, it's not filth. It's life. But they're more consecrated individuals, and they deserve that respect. Because we're all here together. Remember, it is the civic, cultural, social, and moral welfare. So, how can you take an active interest in these areas? Type in the comments below, subscribe. If they even let it out, there's not a soul in here. I got 2,200 people. Nobody's in here looking at this. It's probably because it's classified. I'm going to be in here with you fuckers for another 8 minutes, and then I'm going to come back for a second run. Or better yet, fuck it. We'll do the whole hour. I try to do these in hour blocks. That way, I'm not a hypocrite. I live by the principles of the book, which I'm about to write another one. This is my first one. I had to drop the bomb and see what happened. See if it was worth casting. I cast one pearl before the swine, and I want to see what it does with it. If it treats it okay, I might throw it in another pearl. And if it fucks it up, and shit, man, I can't keep throwing fucking pearls all day. Anybody out there? Anybody out there? Okay. So, we're talking about uniting communities in the bonds of friendship, good fellowship, and mutual understanding. In this case, it's talking about Lions Clubs. In this case, we're talking to you about being better fellows, better workers. And I know this is hard. I mean, not everybody's going to bond with you. A lot of people, they don't always want to fucking hear what you got to say. They don't like you, man. They think you're fucking a loser. You're square. You're low class charlatan. Fucking bum. Fucking person of color. Fucking homosexual. You're a fucking Jew or a Gentile. You're black or you're white. Whatever it is, try to mitigate those labels as one of the big things that I did is I crushed that anti-Semitism. No anti-Semitism. Crush that Islamophobia. No anti-Muslim. Crush this racist bullshit. Which, I mean, you can hold on to it if you want. That's fine. That's fucking fine. But I tell you what, these phones, they track that shit. And I don't know how they feel about it, but Big Brother's there. He is there. And there's Big Brothers. There's lots of motherfuckers behind there. And I don't know if they particularly enjoy that type of shit. So you might want to watch what you say. I talk more shit than anybody. And I guess that's what leaders do. I don't consider myself a leader, but at times I do. Because unfortunately, there's too many snowflake sons of bitches around. I've got to pick up the slack. And it's a good thing and a bad thing, because once you start leading, people are trying to take you down. Always be aware of that. When you start leading, people are going to try to take you down. It doesn't matter if you're trying to help them or not. They're going to fucking try to take you down. It's that simple. So, don't lead too much, is what I say. I mean, if you try to lead too much, you're going to get ate up. You're going to get bit. So, avoid that. To provide a forum for the open discussion of all matters of public interest, provided, however, that partisan politics and sectarian religion shall not be debated. Now, this line of text is intended for within the club. But all of us have that to a degree. But at the same time, we have our political affiliations. You've got, in my opinion, you've got to stand up for the right cause, whatever that cause is. In my case, I like to stand up for the president. I like to stand up for the soldiers. I like to stand up for America. You know, I'm fucking American, man. I mean, whatever. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. But if you know, and just use some common psychology, if you fucking know that so and so, you know that the motherfucker doesn't like jelly on the peanut butter sandwich. Try to keep that jelly off the sandwich. You can put jelly on the sandwich. You know. So if you do, if you're talking about something you're egging them on, you're a fucking asshole. And you're starting problems. You're sowing strife. It's easy to be an asshole. Sometimes a lot of people haven't been broken or humbled, and they like to strike a fucking and they start talking about egos. Some motherfuckers, they'll get mad. They'll be like, well, so and so, I don't see how you can buy a man lunch who's buying beer, for example. For me, what does a beer have to do with lunch? The beer is the object of envy. They resent the fact, and I'm not saying any people in particular, I'm just saying non-drinkers resent the fact that they cannot drink, or that they do not drink. Not all of it. Not all of it. Drinking may be bad for low-class things for low-class people. So they say. The camaraderie, the history of it, whatever you call it. I've quit drinking for a long time. And I've drank for a while. And I've gone in and out of sobriety. But I think the one reason why I'm holding on to drinking is the fact that it's a real exposer of character. They say, well, it exposes your character. You're drunk. You're a piece of shit. You got an alcohol problem. You got a drinking problem. Like, yeah, you got a drinking problem too. You want to talk about my beer goggles? You got some fucking beer goggles too. As long as I'm able to perform my fucking duties, don't be distracted by what's in this hand. Don't be distracted. You know, I don't like the idea of motherfuckers whisking down syrupy drinks. I think that's disgusting. Why are you drinking fucking 50 grams of sugar and caffeine? That don't make a fucking lick of sense to me. And henceforth, you're crossing, you're fighting. So we go to Richard Branson quote. Leaders eat last. The Virgin Way. I read Richard Branson's book, The Virgin Way. You gotta check it out. I felt a little emboldened after reading that book. They set the record flight for most champagne consumed on an airplane. I mean, the guy, I think he had Virgin Records, the Stones, the Who. I mean, like, whoa, man. You want to talk about a leader? Richard Branson kicks a lot of ass, and he gets a lot of flack. I mean, it's one of these things where it can be a real burden to be a leader, and it can be dangerous, and you don't want to isolate yourself. I found, me personally, I oftentimes don't have a lot of choice. One wise thing I learned during this leadership summit and during my tenure at the Lions was the garden hose principle. If you drink, you can drink a few drops. Or you can turn a wide arm. Or you can turn that mother wide open blast. Think about that like your delivery. Cy Williams, rest in peace, one of my instructors at Edward Community College. He always said that there's various levels of self-disclosure. And you only feed them in bites of knowledge. You can't just blast them with all that knowledge, all that shit's gonna be fucking head. And next thing you know, you're like, no, I can't take it. It's too much. That's why we're here right now. Still nobody in the chair. These reports made. These videos are supposed to be logged for posterity, so I mean, there's a chance that it can generate earnings. It's just doing the right thing at the right time. So let's go ahead in here and let's talk about since we're on the topic of leadership. It's supposed to be a fucking leadership summit. We got to write a personal mission statement. See? And don't be afraid to read your personal mission statement. See right here. Personal mission statement. Here in a world ever so characterized by confusion, apathy, and selfishness, one must herald the change to illumine the minds of the sleepers. Time-honored virtues such as duty, honor, and country have been lost in the maelstrom of political correctness and greed, leaving national security issues abandoned in the quest for personal gains. The once dormant soul of American order and truth shall be resurrected in a more fierce, determined, and loyal segment of the American populace, bringing forth charity and goodwill to those lacking of sight and thirsty for truth. Now, I want you all to rally behind President Trump during this period. He, in my opinion, without getting too political, is the greatest leader our country has right now. And we need to all work together. Understand this. Being a leader means leading groups and following orders. I like chain of command. I'm a younger man. I'm actually an old fucking 30 years old. I don't know my ass pretty much from home. I need people like that. Leadership. I follow orders from leadership. I learn directives. What they call this is authoritative data feeds. And the commander-in-chief holds the top office. And we're all brothers and sisters and fellows in that order. And we should feel that. I feel like the country's been divided for a very long time. And we finally got a strong leader in our class that is trying to pull us together. We've got about 5 years left, 6 years left to pull it together. And this is the magic time. This is the magic time. We've got to make sure that we're all being powerful leaders. And we are, taking part in this good government and this civic responsibility. And we're not just forcing ourselves and our ideals on certain people. No. And it goes back to Light Brigade. Ours is not to question why. Ours is really to do. And you have to be loyal. You have to be unswerving. And you have to be a good person. And you have to care about the United States and the well-being of the United States. It's just not that fucking simple. And a lot of people, they seem to have a hard time with that. And it's a real drag. I don't look down on them because, I mean, I've been there. I'm a well-lit piece of shit. I'm a very bad guy. You know, we all do bad things sometimes. But we've got those. Being a powerful leader sometimes means supporting a powerful leader. And I encourage you to look up and study parliamentary procedure and also chain of command. I feel like a lot of people are just sort of missing that. They're not connecting. And I'm trying to connect with that. And it's hard for me to connect. I mean, you got to understand, it's hard for me to comment on things that I don't understand. A lot of us don't understand. Things are changing. Things are changing. And they're changing pretty fast. Things are getting better. And we're all trying to pull together for the big win. This ain't the time for losers. brothers and sisters in being anti-Trump, anti-America, anti-obstructionist, pretty much. They're getting in the way. And it's not like they're evil people. They're just going through changes, just like me or anybody else. They're going through changes. These changes are sometimes hard to explain, but being a leader in America means you follow orders and you strive to be the best you can be. Now, sometimes you can be a fucking rebel, and being a rebel is a good thing. Don't quote me on that. I'm probably going to get killed. Like I said, I've played the rebel and it ain't paid out yet. But if you look at generals, there's actually a lot of generals. Generals they command on the order X amount of men. So many men, so many platoons, so many brigades, so many, it goes up the pecking order, so to speak. Military structure, the structure of the military. And the fascinating thing is if you examine these foreign military units and you examine how they do, platoon's only as good as your drill instructors, so to speak. And I've dealt with classes that, there's 500 fucking schools teaching English comp. And there's, 20 fucking professors that are actually engaging the students, that are getting the shit going. Why is that? What separates some of these motherfucking professors from these other professors? Like I said, it's leadership. It's balls. It's giblets. You gotta have the girth, the fortitude. You gotta believe in what you're doing. Like I said, I'm giving you this from my opinion. I encourage you to take other sources of information as well. I am very exhausted. I've been working and I've been very busy. And I'm down to the last, thankfully, 11 minutes of this. And it's painful for me. But I'm going to share with you a couple of success stories from this book. Mary Kay Ash began her sales career by writing weekly goals in soap on her bathroom mirror. Her company, Mary Kay Inc., is now one of the world's largest direct sellers of skincare and cosmetic products. Writing goals is important. I want to share with you my goals that I had, and I still look to them. Some of them I've achieved, some of them I haven't achieved. And if you kind of want to copy and bootleg, generally I get really pissed at people for doing that. But in this case, I'll let it slide for the sake of being a fucking leader and taking one for the team. Letting motherfuckers be great and letting America be great. See that? I learned from someone else. You can either be the source of the light or you can reflect the light. I learned that from a master. See that? I'm not the light, motherfucker. And accordingly, what is that they say? B.F. Skinner says there's no free thought. It's all fucking rigged. It's all zeitgeist bullshit. The light reflects. Let the light blind your eyes. The truth blind you. So what are these goals back in 2016? Some of these goals are good, some of these goals are bad. I mean, I think I've achieved most of these goals at some point in time. The 501c3, no. I did get sober, I did get fit, tracked my earnings, my expenses. I expanded, did not complete that. CS50. And I encourage you all to pick up CS50 where I left it off. Working on that thing now. Can y'all see that? That was the tablet. So it helps to have goals. You've got to have goals. You've got to have your success stories. Writing that shit down will leave you with a pearl, a nugget of wisdom. The palest ink can be better than the sharpest memory. So they say. Some people have a sharp memory, but I always wondered why those rich fucks. You come into these rich fucks' houses and they have post-it notes and shit all over the walls in their cubicle. What is all this? They write their shit down. They wouldn't write it down if they knew they weren't going to forget it. Ichiro Suzuki has probably accomplished more than any other baseball player in Japanese history. He is also the first player in American Major League Baseball to have 200 hits of his first 4 seasons. Ichiro's mental approach to the game is fundamental to his success. Know your feelings, know your goals, and stay with them, states Ichiro, who sets both personal and professional goals for himself. Are you setting professional goals for yourself? I set professional goals for myself, and a lot of times they just don't let me make it. You know, money is a big, big part of it. So you gotta come up with a way to make it. There's more meat in this pie. We will take a look at it. Like I said, I didn't get a single fucker out of 2,200 subscribers. Mic drop. Whatever you call it. We are down to the last 4 minutes. Finally made it, and buddy, I am exhausted. I am exhausted. So feel free to ask any questions you have. Go ahead and type them in the comments below. Use that super chat. You can send fucking money through that super chat. I'm still waiting on the first person. I quit doing pornos for you people. Some people like the pornos better. I don't know. You like the fucking pornos? Wait a second. I'm trying to cut that shit out. Another leadership thing. Why the fuck ain't I doing porn? Well, I tell you why. Because I spent time with these fucking kids and these cocksuckers up at the way running golf tournaments for motherfuckers that couldn't fucking see. And I spent enough time out here with some people that had some goddamn sense about them, some goddamn class. These Christians up here, they fought, and they kept their shit straight. These people, they lived the right way. They're good people. They're good fucking people. They give you this fucking clothes off their back. And by God, they deserve it. And a lot of these veterans, the hell, these fuckers, they go over there, they fight, and they die. And by God, they deserve it. They deserve something nice and clean and sanitary without all that shit. You know, it can be a hellhole. I was raised in a goddamn hellhole. And it's nice sometimes. Sometimes I go back to the hellhole. And it's nice to go sometimes, but when you go back there, you get flashbacks. Drunks. Beer bottles, breaking, people getting beat up, domestic violence, shootings, stabbings, homicides. It's not good, man. Ain't nothing good come of it. You know, you're rolling around in filth, and that's an opinion of mine. You get entangled up in that shit, and it's going to drag you to your fucking grave. That shit doesn't fucking try to drag me to my grave, and that's like, hey, I drink. I may not drink tomorrow. Drinking don't make me. I got to get my water one way or the other. I got my hops, I got my barleys, I got my grains, I got my water. That's all I got for the Leadership Summit tonight. Tell me how I can improve.